Hello and welcome to the Voice of C38 Untapped. Today we are at Baere Brewing on South Broadway, handpicked by Dave, so as you can see, he'll be joining us. And on my left, Senior Director of Broadcasting, Richard Fleming. Many of us know he's the guy who calls the games. So it's good to get you out of the studio and into a brew setting.
Yeah.
We won't make note of the time, but that's okay.
It's very late.
Yes.
It's when everybody else has gone to bed. There's some awards here. We're going to start with an award-winning Saison.
Yes.
Sharing a glass.
All right, so I'll go from this point to the glass.
Okay.
All right, so if you go there,
All right.
we'll be good.
We'll go clockwise around the glass.
Do I spit into something?
No.
No? Just okay. I've not done this, you see.
Here, if you need to.
It's not
Here to
like
help,
wine.
here to help.
You're going to just enjoy it.
I don't know, I mean, I've not had anything to compare it to, so
Just take a mental note, and we'll go back through.
the thing is,
I've got an adult size,
yeah,
so-
but also Dave's got the advantage. You and I are going to take sips. He's going to finish the glass.
All right, well then fine. It's definitely a light beer, which is the way I would start off a taster as you kind of look at the colors, although that red one's got me a little curious, but we'll get to that. Second beer, the light stuff. This is a Kolsch, so if you'd like, you can take
that's
a
the
big
same as mine,
sippy
is it?
of
I've got the big
yours.
boy here. That one's a bit more hoppy, isn't it, I think?
It's a little bit more of an aftertaste with that first one.
Yeah.
You can always use that one as the
Yeah.
starting point. I'll always go back to. Or one of the reasons we have Dave on the show is that we're going to be looking back over the last few years as C38 has developed and grown as a group, which I also feel is fitting because you joined the club in 2013, which was also kind of an inaugural year for all of us here. So what would be some of your favorite moments or some of the things that stuck out, whether that was right then in 2013 or for you, would you like to go back a little bit further? Dave?
Well, I mean, initially, I think everything comes to a congruence around that time, 2012, 2013. So C38 was officially born in January of 2013, but the steps were being taken. It wasn't formal until then, but the end of the 2012 season, 2012 off season, which coincides with our former president Tim Henchy's presence and the fact that he saw a need and a value to support the supporters community. And that actually league-wide, that was kind of coming down from top down. Is before 2011, 2012, the league had no idea what to do with supporters culture. They were just lost. And so Tim came in, and Tim was definitely a big picture guy. I know people have criticisms, both good and bad, with Tim. Anybody in a leadership role like that is going to have that. But for what his role was to create the environment that allowed us to do what we did as a supporters group, and for those that don't know by now, it was 3 different supporters cultures that merged into one, which really is an unprecedented thing in MLS supporters history, and we couldn't have done that without the ability and the support from the front office. And prior to Tim, I mean, Jeff Plush was great, but he didn't really know how to interact with the supporters, so Tim came in and did that. And so 2013 being our first year of this supporters group and this iteration of the supporters group, now 5 years into it, going into our 6th. It's been an interesting ride, to say the least.
It's interesting, actually. I remember my first interaction with C38, and I think it was I'm trying to think the first home game. May have been the Salt Lake, the return leg,
Okay.
April the 5th, 6th.
It was early that year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think it was a couple of weeks after, and I remember going out and meeting some of the guys from C38, and this guy came up to me and he had a tray of Jello shots, and he said to me, "Would you like a Jello shot?" And being from England, I'd never kind of heard of a Jello shot. I said, and I could see they were kind of already. I mean, we were 2 hours before kickoff. Already there was a glazed look in his eye. So I said, "What's in that Jello shot?" Just out of interest. He went, "Whatever alcohol was in there." I went, "Would you be offended if I declined?" And his follow-up was fantastic. And I remember he said, "But all the money goes to charity."
It's for the children.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah.
I'll be absolutely bladdered on air. So that was my first interaction with C38. And I coming from England, as you know, I'm kind of aware of the value of having that relationship with the supporters, because as we all know and we're all aware, players come and go, coaches come and go, commentators come and go, front office come and go, but the ones that have to ride that roller coaster of the highs and the lows, that have to take those barbed comments from colleagues in the office on a Monday morning when their team's not doing so well, or get to puff their chest out with pride, are the fans.
Kept the podcast going, and you've brought in Connor now, and that's gone very well for you. Was that kind of one of those things that you also felt like this was missing, because there really isn't a radio outlet for not just Rapids but soccer in general? And you had the platform to be able to do so. Was that kind of your idea to do it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to take all the credit, but I will. The concept where the podcast came about was Major League Soccer. The schedule is usually Saturday to Saturday to Saturday. Very, very few midweek games. And I said, look, what is there for a fan to get excited about? Where is that bridge midweek? There's a bit of traffic on a Friday and a Saturday, and then it goes quiet, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, picks up again Friday. So the podcast was kind of that middle of the week, something for fans to latch onto and to look forward to, and to give them something that then allows them to kick on for the weekend.
Next beer on the list is the C3 IPA. A little bit of a Star Wars kind of a name to it. We're stepping up on the hoppy ladder, so to speak.
Okay. Well, I like that.
I don't need to taste that because I got a big one coming. Mm-hmm. That's my beer of the day.
And I'm not a massive IPA guy, but I do like this one. This is not my first one. I mean, today it is, but it's got that good piney nose.
All right, so the next one, the
Gleamonics. Yeah,
so this is a session IPA. So in a weird way, we've kind of went up and then down as far as the hoppies go.
Which I think is how hop works.
I went first on that one.
That's good. No, you missed that last time around. Oh, actually, that does hit you even earlier than that one.
there's an aroma there.
Yeah, it's like that citrusy. Am I?
Yeah, I like that one too. And again, this is coming from a non-IPA guy. I do like their IPAs. But I always, I usually default to the Saison because that's just who I am. But you can definitely taste the citrus in there, which kind of helps, I think, curb some of the hop, which is why for my delicate palate.
Yes.
So delicate.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to the last segment of soccer. You mentioned something earlier about attacking soccer. What would be your idea of attack-minded soccer, and what do you feel like the club's idea of attack-minded soccer are? Feel free to answer whichever.
Mine would be scoring more than the opposition.
Right.
On a regular basis. Now that kind of is rather simplistic, but I think where the Rapids have struggled in the last few years is that opposition score one, can we score two? Mm-hmm. They score two, can we score three? In other words, that ability to respond, and as I mentioned earlier, is that ability to adapt to the surroundings. If you're coming up against a side that is more attack-minded, can you defend well? If you're coming up against a side that is susceptible defensively, can you be aggressive early on to set the pace and to set the standard? Can you be as strong on the road as you are at home? Do you go into your shell on the road? So there's different aspects as to what attacking. Now, does attacking mean we score 5 goals every week or have 20 shots on target? I think it's having that ability to be attacking as the conditions and the situation presents itself.
Like from my end, the attacking style is thinking forward, as opposed to, there's times you have to reset and bring it back. It feels like we do that more than I've seen with other clubs. And then to your point, being able to take a punch in the nose and then know you're going to punch back. Bottom line, that's the essential, because you can see it on teams. A team goes down a goal, they don't have a lot of confidence in their offense, and they drop their shoulders, and next thing you know, they're losing 3-0.
I think we've got to realise how far the league has come, where it's heading, expanding again in 2018, and look, it's going to get better. And I know, as an Englishman, and having seen you guys from afar, when America sets its mind to something, it wants to do it, and it wants to do it well, and we will get there.
Speaking of that, on to the stout. I have a big glass. This is a good way to cap it all off.
Goodness me.
Although there's something about that Brighton one.
We got a wee bit of an aperitif. That's
That, that reminds me of a rugby match at Twickenham in 2011.
so obviously you didn't have enough of those. If you still remember it.
Well, no, I was reminded of it
Oh, fair
when I
enough.
came out of the haze about a week and a half later. Yep.
And the taste brings it back too?
That takes me back. I think
right.
the words that echoed out of my wife's mouth were, "You are an absolute disgrace." I couldn't argue with her, to be fair. I couldn't argue with her.
Yeah, that's got a nice coffee chocolate to it. That's a lot of fun.
That's kind of like a desserty.
As winter is coming.
As we talk about that, this is the Blackberry Table Sour. This won bronze at this year's Great American Beer Fest. So
Yeah, and what's great is they bottle that soon.
Looks like a medicine, doesn't it?
Yeah, for their anniversary party, they got slushy machines and they mixed that with ice, and they made, it was phenomenal. They made a lot of friends that day with that machine.
Okay.
A little tart, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, this is it's a whole different direction than the stout for sure.
move over Bartles and James.
And what was that one?
That was the
Blackberry
Blackberry
Table
Sour.
What I love is just like right when you get done, you're like, okay, you get all the fruit on the front and the back end, you just get that like Pop-Tart sour on the back.
Yeah.
It's like Halloween candy.
As far as sour goes, that's definitely the best thing I've consumed. All right, so in closing, though, you've definitely been very well-rounded and been a part of the soccer community, football community all over the world. Where would you rank C38 as a supporters group? Since we've talked about the growth.
I can leave the room if you'd like.
And you know, it just, I would like to know. You definitely have experienced other supporters groups and maybe even some that we might even aspire after.
The C38 fans, supporters, they are the lifeblood of the club. And you know, again, without kind of blowing smoke up the backsides of Dave, is that you know they work hard. You know, the tifos, you know the hog roast that they do on a game day, all of the beers, and it's the more the merrier, and it's that kind of culture. It's not an exclusive club. You want to be part of us? You want to join us? Yeah, come and join us. Come and be a part, because we've all got a common goal. We want to support this club, and we want to make sure that they know that we're supporting them. And just good people, decent people. Beer and soccer, and you know, you've got friends for life. So what can go wrong?
Well, definitely appreciate the compliment. Yeah, I mean that's what we have strived to do for the last 5 years, and as we wrap up 5 years I mean, we're not ending as a supporters group, but, you know, looking back. Yeah, looking back at the 5 years of the group. I mean, having been on the board for that group and now stepping down and letting other people take charge of it, being able to see the evolution of us internally and how folks have matured and the battles we fought, and the struggles we fought. The common thread was always to be as open as possible and just create that community.
It doesn't go unnoticed, and that comes back to my original point: is that you never take the fans for granted. You might think that it's not recognised or not appreciated.
Yeah.
The players certainly know about it.
Yeah.
The front office are aware of it. Yeah, certainly on television, we see it, and so it's hugely appreciated. And on a personal level, the way you guys have connected with my family and myself, and just made my transition in those early years, those early stages, so much easier. It's on a personal level, very, very much appreciated.
That's
On that note, I mean, thank you to Baere Brewing on Broadway, and
There we go.
this is a good way to kick it off. So thank
My
you
hands
very
got
much.
much bigger.
Stay tuned.